Well, good morning, everybody. I did not put any music on this morning because it's so early in the morning. My voice is going to be very soft. It's hard for me to talk loud in the morning. So I thought I wouldn't give myself any competition and go ahead and just have a quiet morning spinning here. Let me put a few commands on here. And as you can see, I'm going to be spinning what's listed underneath my picture there. But I want to put a pattern. Let me put my welcome here first. That link works. I wonder if I can check it here real quick. Yep, sure does. Good. I like my little commands to end up staying there on the chat. When I have the music to be live stream safe, I have to use Pretzel Rocks, and I understand. I don't blame them all, but they list every song, and it just is so overwhelming in the chat. You can't find anything. So, or I have to keep typing it, and it really isn't as clean as I liked. I liked it when I used to play my own music in the background, but from CDs, but I had folks tell me that that probably wasn't a good idea, that Twitch may mute me. So, because of rights to the music and all that. So, that's okay. I'm starting a brand new bobbin here, and I had planned to pre-draft this fiber before I got going, but that didn't happen. So I spent almost 4 hours mowing yesterday, and that took up an awful lot of the time that I thought I would be doing fibery stuff and didn't get to do it. But it's a good break. When you're spinning, it's a good break to have to pre-draft your fiber. So it is 5:30, well, a little after that, but 5:30 a.m. in the morning, my time. And I am a morning person. And generally, I'm awake sometimes by this time, but I'm very quiet. I sit and drink coffee and read or, you know, go through Ravelry or the chat groups and all of that. Do internet stuff, so I'm not a talker in the morning. It'll get better. I'm going to be on till 9 o'clock. So it'll get better as we go on. I have my coffee. Since this is a Saturday, um, my husband and I like Starbucks Pike's Place blend, and we buy it and we make it for the weekends. Now, this was a real treat when we were working and, had weekends off and all that. But it still is fun when you're retired to earmark the weekend. It it's pretty easy. And those of you who work but are working from home now, or have not worked because of the COVID situation and are at home, the days run together and you kind of lose track. And we're constantly saying to each other, "What day is this?" You know. was going to put my yarn up here somewhere. I did a test skein. I have a pound of this fiber, and I'm not real sure where to put it so it can be seen. I can't find a place to put it so it can be seen. Unfortunately. Anyway, this is what it looks. That's a bad place to show you. That was the end where I tied the ends together. That's what it looks like. It looks very blue in there, but it really isn't that blue. It is more green, real light aqua green. I don't know where to put this. I can't. Let's see. If it's draped here, let me put this in a ball. This is my challenge this morning here. I always have to have something to figure out in the mornings. Alright. Let's see if that'll work. Maybe it'll sit there like that. I'm probably pushing my luck, but we'll try that and see if that works. Now all my twist ran down into my fiber. I am aiming for 11 wraps per inch. That's what this is for the pattern that I posted. It's called Ida Vest. And it's super easy to over twist this. So I have gone from a merino that would not take the twist to this, which just I can hardly keep twist out of it. I have to learn to really slow down on my treadling in order to get the just amount of twist that I want there. And that's probably a good thing this morning. Just a gentle wake-up spin. And this is top. And as happens with top now and then, it just all ends right at the same time. Hate it when that happens. I know, I am forever teaching. I can't help it. I tried spinning this long draw, but as I sort of expected, it's top and did not do well with long draw. Even though it looks like it might, because it's, a fairly fuzzy, it's very fuzzy for top. It's a very fuzzy wool, or it has some mohair in it. I don't know what the blend is. So this is going to be quite an exciting day. I've already warned hubby that I would be doing nothing but spinning and watching everybody that is on our Tour de Fleece Team Twitch live streaming. And we're doing a raid train, which means that we're live streaming one after the other and covering the whole 24 hours. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to watching everybody I already met one live streamer that I had not watched before, so that was good. And I don't mind the early morning because I do know that the podcast has a lot of listeners over in Europe, and I am hoping that they manage to pop in today and say hello. I think we all agreed to wear PJs too. Make it a pajama party. Spend the day in your pajamas. Boy, isn't that always a good weekend thing, isn't it? Oh, came to the end of my stretch here. Well, maybe that means it's time for a sip of coffee. Mm. Tastes good this morning. I will be clearing my throat a lot too. That's another morning thing. Sometimes I clear my throat, and my husband says, "What did you say?" I didn't say anything. I just cleared my throat. This has little specks of. It looks like they were trying to put little specks of color in, but they're just like, I don't know. They're just sort of hanging around in very infrequent places. Oh, and my bobbin is. Why didn't you tell me my bobbin was doing wonky? I can see that so much better on the camera than I can see right here because this big bobbin part that blocks this view right here. And see, all of that popped ahead of the guide there. It shouldn't have. It's not going to make a very smooth bobbin wrap, but it will get covered up here pretty quickly and not really matter. I have been on the merino that I spun before this. It was super thin, and so this is going to fill up a lot quicker, and I have to move my guide along more often than I'm used to after spinning 8 ounces of that merino. I haven't skeined that off yet. I've been letting it sit. It's plied, but I've been letting it sit on the bobbin, and I'll probably skein it off tomorrow. I'm curious how much yardage I got. Looks like it might be over 300 yards. This wool is soft in my hands. Not merino soft, but you know, definitely going to be comfortable as a vest. It would probably be fine as a sweater. I doubt I would get the yardage out of it for that. Spinning it as thick as I am, I don't know. But I'm not really aiming for that. But what surprises me is sometimes I'll pick it up and I'll think, well, that's not all that soft. And then other times I pick it up and I, well, okay, or holding it like this and I'm like, okay, this feels good. I have experienced that with Shetland, and I don't. I have no idea what the breed is here, and I keep trying to guess what it is. Because I wish I knew. I bought this long ago with so many things that are deep in my stash that I just didn't take the time to spin because it was a larger spinning project, and I now am working on those. And this was one of them because it was their dollar an ounce special at a booth, and I bought a pound. Yeah, they were going for the nubs there, but I don't like that. I'm pulling it out. I put a towel on my lap because when I was working with this on Thursday, I had finished plying what I could ply of the merino. One bobbin finished before the other. So I started this and did this test skein here. And um, when I did it, I didn't have anything on my lap, and I had black pants on, and it was just covered with short hairs from this, from drafting, pre-drafting, and then drafting while I was spinning. So I went ahead and put the towel on my lap, but I don't see as many. Maybe it was just, excuse me, I leaned down to get my fiber. Maybe it was just because I had black pants on. I don't see as much now. Of course, I just started. I had this skein, little skein is an ounce, and I got 20 yards of 2-ply. At that rate, if I multiply that by the 16 for the pound, I'm going to get a little over 300 yards, which I don't think is enough for the vest. So that's going to be disappointing. I'll see what happens. As I handle the fiber more, I am finding that I can spin it a little bit thinner, and I really did think that this test skein was a little too thick. So I'm happy about that. That I'm gonna be able to, I think, to get closer to a 13 wraps per inch than the 11, which that test skein is. And I think it'll hit gauge better if I do get it down, get more wraps per inch out of it. I'm pretty sure it's because I slowed down on the treadling. I was treadling, I think, too fast when I was making that test skein because I had been in that mode when I was treadling the merino. This Tour de Fleece is second go around, and they're actually running the race, and I've been watching it on TV, and I love it. I it is a huge difference for them to be running it in September instead of July. The weather has made a huge factor in it. But for me, I did all of my big push to get a lot spun. I spun 12 different skeins of yarn during the first one. And when Ravelry went ahead and had the Tour de Fleece, even though the race wasn't being run in France, the Tour de France bike race. So this one, I'm really chilling. I'm not doing too much. Okay, gonna have to draft some more here. Hi, what's up, Ida? Oh, hello. I'm glad you didn't yell. I'm so glad to see you. It's been a long time. Welcome. Good morning for me, but I know not for you. I have been thinking about adding more of the earlier morning. I did one Thursday, but I just don't know. It's so early for me. It's 6 a.m. It's 6 a.m. my time. I got on at 5:30. Um, the Are you familiar with? Oh no. Why? Okay, sorry. Dork says I think you have it set so I can't raid you. Okay, hang on. Let me check my settings. Where would that be? I wonder. Let's see. I may have to go Google this real quick. Hang on, everybody. I'm having a little bit of technical. I gotta figure out. I'm gonna Google something here real quick and see if I can figure this out. Well, I got how to use raids. That's not what I want. Uh, Boy, I have no idea where that would be. Mod tools, probably. Maybe? No? Oh, maybe it's in the Streamlabs here. These chat settings. I got a review recent raids. Manage raid settings. Ooh, I found it. I found it, I think. Okay. I can allow all raids. I had allow only from friends. Okay, I got it. That should do it. Let me get back to the. Except I can't get back to my chat channel here. Well, thank you for the host. What's up, Ida? Thank you. Um, are you gonna go walk your dogs? Okay. How do I get my? Hello. Evidently, everybody's joining me. I need my chat back. Uh, okay. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. I think we have it all worked out now. You're right. That was my fault. It was just a setting. I had it set for friends only. So I guess I need to make you a friend, or Delicious. I really thought you were, but I guess not. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the follows, everybody. I am so excited about today. It's going to be so much fun just going from one streamer to another. I have my spinning area all set up for later on so I can just watch and spin all day. It'll be great. Nutty Value, you fell asleep. I had Dark Delicious on listening on the headphones while I was setting up. I never actually got to watch too much. I did see what you were spinning though, and that looks beautiful. Very nice little spinning wheel too. That little electric. So everybody, I know that you need to come and go, but I hope that you can pop into all of our streamers over the day and say hello and watch, and we'll have a great day together. Tomorrow, if you're part of the doing the Tour de Fleece, tomorrow's a challenge day. I'll be streaming at 3 o'clock my time, and I'm going to work with my Ashford Traditional. I'm going to change spinning wheels. And she's a cantankerous wheel, so that's why it's a challenge. That's why it's going to be a challenge for me, trying to get it spinning again. The Ashford Traditional is like a weather barometer. I mean, it swells and shrinks with the weather. Even though I have air conditioning, it seems to know what's going on outside somehow. My little cup has a knitting penguin on it. And I love her grandma wig. She's a grandma penguin. I know, penguin. Humidity gets in everywhere. So let me tell me if I don't pronounce these right. We have Nutty Valerie. That's good. And uh, Morning Rose Rising. Oh, that's. See, I was trying to put the G with the rose. So Morning Rose Rising is super simple. I got that. And you guys have broke my record. I have 11 viewers on here. Now, some of those are Twitch viewers, but I don't know what they count and what they don't count. To me, they count whatever I see as a viewer listing. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's the most viewers. I've had more viewers one other time. I got rated one other time by JK Knits. So, raids are really cool. Hello, RoboBabe. Thank you for the follow. How are you this morning? My husband always asks, "So, how many viewers did you have?" And I was like, "Oh, don't ask. Only two." Oh, goodness, I just found sparkle in this. They threw everything into this blend. There's one piece of sparkle. Uh, those dogs, that dog woke you up? Yeah, it's not the way you want to start your day. I will say this, it's a little bit better than a cat that brings you a snack from outside. So, puppy dogs are at least are a little more polite than some cats. Cats think they're doing you a real favor when they do that, but mm-mm. Keep it outside, cat. Morning Rose says, I miss having a dog. My lizard just judges me. I can see the lizard face. I'm sorry, that's why I'm laughing. You could start a you know, a YouTube, not YouTube. Um, well, I guess YouTube. Grumpy cat. That's where I'm trying to go. You could do a grumpy lizard. Hello, Stripe Colin. Welcome. Said I've not had the misfortune to deal with that, and I think you're talking about the cat. But I've had the misfortune to go to bed only to find my boy has decided the bed is a toilet. Yeah, I know. We forget they're just not human, but love them to death anyway. Robo Babe says I have a snake, and he just looks at me, and it's like, you can put me back in my cage, thanks. Yes. A grumpy Scathe channel would be rather boring. Oh. Okay, I don't know what a Scathe is. Is that a type of lizard? Should I Google this? And Stripe Conlon says, I prefer it that way. Boy cat can't tell me how hard he's judging me. Cats have very specific ways of telling you what they think and what they want. Yeah, Nutty Valerie said at the start of the train, set the alarm at the start of the train and kept her company till more showed up and drifted off unattended. If I was not streaming, I really would have done that. But I just needed to go ahead and get my sleep in. So getting up at midnight, starting the day at midnight, just didn't make sense. I felt bad, but that's how it goes. What's up, Ida says my older dog just goes inside the bathroom and pees on the shower curtain when we don't notice that he wants to go out. At least it's easy to clean. Yeah, your puppies are sweet. I like it when you show them in your stream. See, if I knew we were going to be home all the time like we are now, I'd get a dog. I like dogs, and I think my husband would really like to have a dog. And we don't have to walk dogs here because we have 15 acres, so it'd have to be a well behaved dog to stay home, but other than that, but when as soon as we do that, then we'll be able to travel again. And we like to travel a lot. And a dog, you either have to travel with it or board it. And so we made the decision not to have a dog for that reason. And then turns around and we aren't going anywhere now. We have to stay home. RoboBabe says, my dog is super expressive. She's a border collie. Yes, they are. It's a herding breed and will just stare you down. I have had a border collie in the past. We have a 45-foot long front porch. And that dog, if we sat on one side of the porch, it would just sit there and stare until we moved to the other side of the porch. And then it would sit there and stare until we moved to the other side. That dog was really sweet, but super active. Super funny. Temporary fostering is an idea. Yeah. And suggested by Morning Rose. Nutty Valerie says, our dog hunts mice. That's a good thing. Barks a lot and is an utter chicken. Oh, puppy doesn't like things that go boom or bite or whatever. My cat's a kind of a chicken. He'll jump. He'll walk past electric cords and jump like he just saw a snake or something. He's skittish. She's currently sitting on my feet, staring at me in bed, watching you on the phone. Yeah. All right, Morning Rose. Gotta go get ready for the day. Thank you for staying a little bit. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for popping in. I really appreciate it. Fluff. I got a pile of fluff here on my lap. Nutty Valerie says cats terrify him, but he's also a clown. See, the one thing I never have had, well, let me think about that. No, that's not true. I've had a dog and cats together. I was going to say I've never had a dog and cat together, but I have. It just they kind of kept as separate parts of the house, really. The cats were not as social with us as the dog was. So the cats were off on their own for the most part, and the dog was with us when we had two cats and one dog. Stripe Conlon says Boy Cat was appropriately named after the man without fear, Matthew Murrock. The girl is hellish skittish, like when we moved out of the apartment with my old roommate, whom she would spend time with. The roommate immediately became something to fear. Yes. Boy cat fights the dust devil in the vacuum. Cats are always afraid of vacuums. How can that's amazing. I to have a cat that doesn't isn't scared of the vacuum. That's amazing. Robobade said we had a mouse hunter dog. Her name was Lacey, and she was 100% insane. She had to be muzzled around other dogs during playtime, but one day she bolted out of the door with her muzzle on and killed 4 mice in the middle of the day. We wound up rehoming her. Aw, where there weren't so dogs, so she wouldn't be so stressed. That's right. If you know your dog's personality and what they need, and really, we have the cat I have right now is that same situation. We don't think that he would do well with other cats or other animals, period. So we have pretty much decided that he is the only pet we're going to have right now. Normally, I have music and I use Pretzel Rocks like almost all live streamers for safety's sake as far as licensing and all that. But I knew, excuse me, first of all, I knew my voice would be quieter in the morning than I am often. In fact, it's starting to finally warm up a little bit now that I've been on for an hour. But I also knew there would be a lot of chat, and I don't like that. Pretzel Rock has to put in the songs. I know why they do it. I understand, but everything is gets so jumbled in the chat. I wanted to keep it cleaner today. So there'll be some quiet periods here as I spin. Hopefully you all can hear my spinning wheel. For those of you who have not watched any of my streams, this is a Magicraft. I don't know if you say Magicraft, Aura, Aura. I've had it for a couple years, maybe 5 years now, and it's pretty much my main wheel that I spin with. RoboBait says, I wound up with Penny, my boarder, in a similar situation. My family had a few dogs pass, and suddenly Penny was not getting along with the others, and the 2 kids my sisters had were stressing her out. They did not play nice with her. She had no issues with other kids. Yeah, so that's good. You gave her a good home. Ooh, Robo Babe says, I have someone gifting me my first drop spindle soon. If it goes well, I'm considering getting an upright wheel like that one. They look way easier to store. This one is very heavy. The wood is incredibly heavy, so I don't move it much, and it's not very portable. But there are many others that don't have that weight to it. It's something to consider whether you're going to be moving it or not a lot. But I like the really big bobbins. I have a pound of this fiber to spin. I bought it for $1 an ounce from the carding mill that made it. So it was a bargain, and I like it. I like the way it feels. What is the upright style called? Castle? No. I'm googling. Oh well, I can't. I can't just say style wheels. I get all sorts of car tire wheels. Okay. Yeah, either the castle or the modern wheel is the upright. Wool automobiles. What's the difference? Yeah. Google cares. There's a big difference. I show my age by reminiscing on, and one of my favorite Google reminiscences is there when Google first came out, there used to be an internet challenge of called Stump Google. And what you were supposed to do is Google something that you only got one hit for instead of what, the million you get now? Impossible now, I think. I have always said, though, I don't know how husband and wives solved their arguments before Google, you know. Ah, just hang on, I'll Google it. I'll show you I'm right. Well, yes. We consider it just as bad as losing our electric if we lose our internet. You know, I can't live. It's an essential. And we do. I live out here in the country, and periodically, sometimes we lose the internet, and I always go into town to the Starbucks, you know, get a cup of coffee and use their internet if we lose it. What's up, Ida? That's a good point. Sometimes I think Google kills conversations. People just Google the thing and the conversation dies out. Very good point. I agree. But it is useful. But I know what you're saying. Oh, I think I'm at the end of what I had. Okay. I feel like I'm spinning really slow, but it's going to fill this bobbin fast because it's thicker. Robo Babe says, I'm 26, so grew up in the transition between no real internet accessible computers and how bad I wish I could go back in time and shove a phone in my math teacher's face when they told us we would never carry a calculator in your pocket. Oh, I am terrible at math. I'm not afraid of it. It just can't wrap my brain around it sometimes. Okay, coffee break while I need to pre-draft some more fiber here. I had to switch to my thermal cup. I knew that my other cup wouldn't keep warm. It's gone though too. Robo Babe says I find conversation peters out when I Google something, but it might just be my friend's group. We are always Google things and then keep trying to learn more. Stripe Conlon says we already had eye touch though when we were in high school. Like we literally had proof our teachers were wrong and they all still tried to feed us that line. Oh, wow, Robobate. I'm a biomedical engineer looking at getting into nursing. I've had like 8 math classes past advanced algebra and into theoretical math. Yes, you would as an engineer. And nursing has some, obviously. That's an interesting change, though. Um, is it just you feel like maybe you find jobs better um, to go into the medical field and nursing? I worked in the medical field for 40 years. I always had a job, no matter what part of the country I went to. I could not be picky about what shift I worked. In other words, I didn't always get the plum jobs, but I could always work in the medical field. So, it's something to consider. If anybody wants to join my Discord, I'm going to put up hopefully the link works here. I tried setting that up with a link that didn't expire, so hopefully it works for you. I am pre-drafting fiber. Camera isn't really picking it up there. RoboBabe says my mom was a healthcare nurse, and my friends growing up were 50-plus-year-old people with disabilities. I had a background in robotics through high school and wanted to go down that path, but it's just not super realistic. Okay. I have an 8-year-old grandson, and of course, I think he's extremely intelligent, but, grandmas think that. But anyway, I just, it's so fascinating at this day and age to be looking at him and wondering in 10 years what direction he will be looking at, because he'll be 18, done with school, maybe even before that, and looking at a career. I know what his parents are like. I know what his mom's like, who is my daughter, but it's just going to be so interesting to see what is available in 10 years from now. Normally, we wouldn't have said that. 20 years, 30 years, careers didn't change much. Expectations didn't change that much, but boy, they do now. They change so rapidly. Oh, well, let me move my camera back so you can see my hand. Come on. There. Yeah, Robo Babe agrees, right? And the world is in such a weird, awkward spot. These younger kids absolutely blow my mind. I have spent basically the past 10 years coaching students in FIRST robotics, and the kids' problem solving abilities are wild. Everybody complains about them being online, but they are so good at researching. Oh, that's an interesting point. I guess I don't think of him as that yet because his online is all gaming, but the gaming I know is problem solving. At this point in time, that's what it's teaching him at a way earlier age than I ever would have thought about problem solving. I, you know, as an 8-year old, I think my biggest problem was what was I going to do with myself during the summer when school wasn't in session? It's so different now. Okay, that's enough of that. I really am not wanting to be this grumpy old woman here. No, I'm just kidding. Hi, Morning Rose. Welcome back. Well, I just admire anybody that works with kids all the time now. It's a challenging job no matter what your generation we were in, and They are definitely our future. So I definitely admire anybody that works with kids. Trying, Robo, babe, trying to decide if I crawl out of bed and work on my blanket and try my day with 5 hours of sleep. And Morning Rose says, my hair is all wet. It's cold. Is it cold? It really has been stupid hot and it broke and it's just glorious. Yesterday was one of those perfect days finally. I'm in the Midwest US, but it was, low humidity and it just was perfect yesterday. In response to my when I was 8 stripe, Colin says, when I was 8, the real question was how much time I was going to spend outside playing with my friend versus how much time I was going to spend inside reading. Had to find the right balance because I loved the two activities, but wasn't acceptable to sit in a room together reading as spending time together. That's interesting. You had to be communicating, you had to be talking, you had to be interacting. Reading together didn't count. Interesting. Morning Rose says, my brother and I spent our whole childhood reading in the same room. Robo Babe has the same weather as me yesterday. She's in Michigan. It was beautiful. It really was. Morning Rose says the weather's still hot here, but we have AC and it's kind of chilly in the house. South Carolina is Morning Rose. Oh, I love the fact that you guys are up with me this morning. You're all on the same time zone. RoboBase at 8, I spent like 90% of my time reading and about 10% of my time reading outside when my mom kicked me out for being inside too long. So you just took your book and went outside. Yeah, I got that. Oh, goodness. I was a reader. I still am a reader. My husband is not a reader. He don't get it, you know. But I still get a thrill when I walk into a library. All those books. Stripe Collins says apparently it's 56 outside, but the thermometer next to my computer says it's 76 inside my house. I just know that it's perfect comfortable this morning. A lot of times when I shut the door and this little room, I get too warm when I live stream. Morning Rose says 8 was when I started knitting, spinning, and singing in a choir. Now spinning is interesting for 8. You know, did not hit spinning until I was an adult. I did knit when I was very young. Yeah, she says I was busy at 8. All the things. I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to learn all the things. I'm pretty sure that's about when I learned to knit too, when my grandma taught me to knit. Oh, I don't think I ever read the Little House books. I know about them. Morning Rose says I got into spinning because a character in my Little House books was learning to spin and knit, and I wanted to try. Huh, that's neat. Stripe Conlon says when I was 8, my grandma taught me to knit too. Didn't ask for African pattern until I was 19, though. I thought it would be too hard for me, and by then I found it was very easy. uh, Probably a fan pattern, right? Nutty Valerie says the boys learned woodcraft and I learned handcrafts. Well, there you go. That's how it was. I was what would be called a geek now, but we didn't have anything to be geeky about when I was in high school. But um, I was all in the academics. I didn't even take like home ec or anything like that. Yeah, Stripe Conlon says it's a chevron pattern on a fan base, which makes the prettiest blankets, though. I bet it does. And so many Afghans are crocheted instead of knitted. It's unusual to find a knitted Afghan. Classic and lovely. That's right. It sounds classic and lovely. Now you just need the 70s. No, you don't. You don't need the 70s acrylic yarn. Robo Babe says, I've been crocheting for about a year. I made like a washcloth's worth of normal crochet, decided it was boring, and jumped into making a huge blanket with multiple colors and carrying yarn along. And she is definitely all self taught. Yeah. That's what happens. We get bored, right? Gotta try something different. Looks like way more challenging. Makes it fun. It's done in 36 stitch stripes and sewn together. Oh, that's a lot of sewing. Oh, that is the chevron pattern. It's done in a 36 stitch stripes and sewn together. Okay. That was the one that is the chevron pattern that they're talking about. And Stripe Conlon says, I don't know, my grandma made them out of Red Heart Super Saver, and by now they're all the softest things ever. What's Up Ida says, I learned to knit and crochet when I was around 7 or 8, I think. And Morning Rose says, I can't use acrylic, especially Red Heart. Touching it feels like nails on chalkboard, but in my teeth. It's horrible. Yeah, I know. A lot of people react to it. Acrylic has gotten super, super better than what it used to be. I was joking about the 70s acrylic, which was really awful. But acrylic has gotten a little better now. And RoboBay says, I bet the old acrylic yarn after years of use would be pretty soft at this point. And What's Up Ida says, also we learned to knit and sew in school. My mom taught me how to sew, and pretty young, because I remember making clothes for Barbie dolls. But I wasn't really sewing. I don't remember sewing too much for myself. I just remember sewing for Barbie dolls and stuff. Need to stretch my fingers. Okay, excuse me, I'm chewing on a breakfast biscuit here. Um, RoboBabe, this is a really interesting thing. First, several things. I haven't done anything with wool. I feel like I'm not good enough to try it. Um, I'm just kind of like I'm not even sure what to say about. You don't have to be good. More, you don't have to be better to work with wool than you do with acrylic, or unless you're talking about cost and you don't want to buy it and ruin it, maybe, or not like what you make with it, or something like that. And then the second thing is I do sword fighting, so it's a good chance to try my hand at wool for stuff for my character. And I guess what you're saying is character clothing so that you look the part, not specifically to protect you from the sword and the fighting and all that. So those are interesting comments. Um, and RoboBabe also went on and said, I might pick up knitting and make a bunch of wool socks for my cold feet for events. That one is, yes, right on. Definitely a good thing. Morning Rose says, you're absolutely good enough to work with wool. And you're talking about your character, and I'm curious. Yes, see, it was good comments. We need to hear more. And What's Up Ida has a good point. She said wool is much more forgiving. It hides your mistakes compared to cotton and linen, and that is so true. It kind of snuggles together when you after you knit, and so your fabric looks more together. Just looks really nice with wool. And Robo Babe did say it's just super expensive, and I would hate to waste it. Yeah, it is a cost thing. Morning Rose asked if it's for LARP or something like that, which is something I haven't heard about for a long time. I did, I would go to Ren fairs. I haven't been to for a long time, but I actually have a Ren fair outfit that I'll wear. I lived in California, and that was so much more. I don't know if it was the time I was living out there, was the 80s, or if it was California or what, but it was big out there. Um, and I'm not going to try and Drago Hair. Is that your character's name? Oh, Dago Hair. Dago Hair. Dago Hair. Thank you for the pronounced thing. Um, Morning Rose says, cool, I used to be in a Vermont LARP. I think that's VTM, Vermont LARP, a while back, but now I stick to D&D. Yeah, okay, so the LARP it's not the Ren Fair per se, it's a role-playing format is what it is, right? Stripe Conlon says, my ex-girlfriend's coming up today to do a 2-day weekend at our local Ren Fair. Okay, I'm excited to see her costume. She sews the best costumes. Oh, I miss Ren Fairs now. Oh, that was, you know, you walk around and somebody says, Mistress, where did you get that? What shire did you get that outfit? And I'd say Walmart, and then they'd say, what shire is Walmart? So much fun. Oh, vampire. Sorry. VTM is Vampire the Masquerade. Okay, you all are into. See, I'm not. Just go ahead and enlighten me. Is this online? Is it a online game, or is it like Dungeons D&D where you get together with people and play a game? Because my daughter and family are gamers too, but I never really got too much into it except for a little bit on the computer of, just playing computer games. Dungeons and Dragons, ton of fun. My sword fighting character is a shapeshifter who's in charge of life and death in the forest. I take a form of a raven primarily, but get my soul split in three and put into bodies of three raccoons and place on the corners of the worlds. Shenanigans ensue. I love raccoons. Robo Babe says we do a lot less role play and a lot more foam sword combat. Morning Rose says it's live with people, but they moved to meeting online because of the quarantine. That makes sense. Yeah. Yep. I'm just a little out of touch with that. My daughter had to stop. I mean, after she had my grandson and working and going to school herself, so kind of went on the back burner, and I haven't heard too much about it, which is how I would know about it. Morning Rose says, that sounds amazing, Robo. Robo says it's a ton of fun. Morning Rose says, I just have a bubbly little half elven cleric with a pirate boyfriend. So I've gone the other direction over the years when, for quite a while there, collected the Magic the Gathering cards. And it was strictly as a collector because I loved the artwork on it, and I never really played with anybody, but I enjoyed seeing the artwork. And then I went on to Hearthstone, which is a deck game online. Okay. And that is about the extent of my gaming, really. Hearthstone is also fun. Yay, Robo. I agree. I'm crappy at it, but. And Morning Rose says, I'm the same with Magic the Gathering. Innistrad has the most beautiful art. I know. I don't think I've ever admitted that to a group of people that I collect the cards, though. But Maureen Rose says my brother always wanted me to play, so he was frustrated. Robo says if you like card games, you want to try Slay the Spire. It's a deck game where you go, well, up the spire and fight creatures with your deck. It's pretty neat. Okay. Is it on Twitch? Or is it Because I just got on Twitch for the live streaming. I knew it was a gaming originally, but I hadn't really looked into any of the games. I also actually have access to Steam and Origin. And Robo Babe says I avoid Magic the Gathering because I care about my wallet. And that's fair. Morning Rose says that's fair. Oh yeah. Robo says people might be streaming on Twitch for it. It should be on stream for sure. Okay, on Steam for sure. Spool is building up pretty quick there. What do you mean, Robo? The game? Oh, you mean my bobbin is building up? Yeah, it is building up quick. I know what you mean now. Um, and you're asking, besides pre-drafting, how do you get consistent yarn diameter? Variation in yarn thickness drives me nuts. Yes. Okay, it's a combination of setting your pull in. Sleep deprived. She said, yes, Bob, and forgive me, I'm sleep deprived. It's okay. I just didn't. We were talking games, so I'm trying to put it in the game frame, right? Um, it is building up quick. This is what I wanted to happen. I wanted it to spin pretty quick during this tour de fleece. But I don't think I'm going to get the yardage that I wanted. So to get consistent, make sure, let's see, you're spindle spinning or wheel? Because I was going to say make sure the pull in on your wheel is you're comfortable with, so it's not taking it away from you before you're ready. Now, if you're spinning on a spindle, then it's all about the drafting. And the second thing I was going to say with the wheel is the drafting is, first of all, I pre-draft so that when I'm pulling on it, it's not real thick. I'm going to be pulling pretty much what is the thickness of the pre-drafted. And second, I am pinching pretty hard and keeping it in under control right at this point where the twist is. So, I am holding it pretty good here and sliding, and that visually I can watch and get it thickened up and straightened out. It's hard to explain. It's something you feel with your fingers, and once you feel it, you feel it. Once you're used to it, you won't forget it. Yeah, so drop spindling, just pre-draft your fiber, and then you can stop your drop spindle, park and draft and just look at it. Look at what is happening at your fiber instead of worrying about what's happening with the drop spindle. Hi, Fiber Pixie. How are you? And she says, nothing wrong with that. Spindles do serious work all around the world. That is the truth. Yeah, and Morning Rose says, I draft pretty much the same way as you. I think that's, and that will vary with what fiber you're using. Robo says, I fully expecting my first yarn is going to look a hot mess. I know, but don't throw it away. Be proud of it and relax and have fun with it, really. Fiber Pixie says, also sleep deprived. Aw, yeah. And Morning Rose said, and Spindle did all the work for all the human history until what, like 4 or 5 centuries ago? I know. Wheel is not that old of a thing. And given the choice, I'd prefer a wheel over a spindle. I can't deny it. I am a wheel spinner. And Morning Rose is right. Your first yarn always looks a mess, and we, those of us that are encouraging new spinners say, just don't worry about it. Just try another one. Just keep trying. Just keep doing it. Get all excited about the fiber and enjoy the fiber, and don't worry about the yarn and what you're making, because truly the addicting part to spinning is all of the choices that you have to spin and that sort of thing. You'll get to using the yarn later. That'll happen. It just doesn't have to be your concern when you're starting. Robobabe says, so I'm thinking of trying a worsted weight. Should I just try to spin that directly or ply it? Thinking about plying. Plying hides a lot of consistency. Yes, Fiber Pixie, exactly. And also it makes the yarn balance up a little bit so that it's not hard to work with. It's not a big kinky mess. It'll lay there like this skein is laying here, looking all nice and tempting to do something with. Morning Rose says it's like blocking for knitting. It covers a multitude of sins. That is the truth. So if you're wanting to go for a worsted weight, first of all, I might encourage you not even to worry about what kind of weight you get if this really is your first attempt at spinning. But second of all, you're more than likely going to get a worsted weight than you are a lace weight, so you've picked a good thing to go for. And it will depend on your fiber too. I definitely would say you want to spin with wool first, as long as you're not allergic to it. Babe says, the person who's gifted me the spindle is sending me a thing of fiber too, and I was promised it's gaudy. So looking forward to that. Yes. That was one tip I just recently read. Somebody said to a new spinner, get the colors. That's what's going to make it fun for you to look at, and you'll forget about what you're doing and everything because you're looking at the colors. Well, that is going to be a nice gift. I hope you have good success with that, Robo Babe. Still can't see my hand very well there. Let me get that. There we go. Robo Babe says, I'm real goal oriented, so I'm hoping I'll have color variations so I can aim for them in progress, but we shall see. Morning Rose says the blend I'm working on now has silver and dark bluish green, so it's nice to look at. And it is yak and silk. That's just decadent. Oh, yeah, right. Joke, joke. Robo Babe says I feel like butter probably doesn't have great fiber. Fiber Pixie says the biggest thing is to jump in and do it. There will always be more fiber. That's what I tell my husband all the time when I want to throw away some fleece that I'm, not real happy about the little bits that aren't real good for spinning. And why are you throwing that? Because the sheep are growing more right now as we talk. There's always more fiber. The biggest thing is to jump in and do it. There will always be more fiber. So it's okay if you mess up. Sometimes perfectionism holds people back from even starting. Oh, that is so true. And perfectionism doesn't belong in a spinner of 30 years either, because fiber is organic. It has a mind of its own. I've been saying that for years in the podcast. Well, that didn't turn out like I expected. It's nice. I like it. I've been saying things like that for years, or as I've been spinning over the years. Morning Rose says the stuff has been sitting in my stash for so long I didn't want to spin it because then it'd be done. But I finally got it to the other day. I had something like that. I had a wool Shetland top that came from Shetland Wool Week over in the UK. Where they have like a fiber fair that's all Shetland. And it was gifted to me, and I did never wanted to spin it. I just hung on to it, and I finally spun it during the first Tour de Fleece this year. Knot and Stitches, hello, welcome. I woke up to go in the potty, and now I'm back to sleep. Well, I'm glad you're back up. Good morning. Morning Rose says I'm kind of doing a stash busting of my spinning fibers. I can't even say I'm stash busting because I have so much. And Fiber Pixie says, I definitely have yarn in my stash that's too special to knit. I'm trying to get over that part too. RoboBabe says, Facebook Marketplace keeps offering me alpaca fleece in bags that are unprocessed. I'm fighting hard to convince myself not to look at trying to process my own fibers until I know how to spin it all. Yes, 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 I know. That's what I said. It's the fiber that you will absolutely get addicted to. That's why we all end up with stash. It's just like yarn. I mean, it's so tempting. So much gorgeous stuff. Morning Rose said, I don't have a setup for large scale processing, but oh, I want to. It is so tempting, Robos Babe says. Now, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. The tempting part is it sounds like you're going to get so much fiber for such a little price. And the truth is there's a lot of waste, and the second truth is there's a lot of work before you finally get to spin. Just something to keep in mind. My example is I used to raise Angora rabbits, so I stopped because it became too much work, too hard of work. And I decided I can let other people raise Angora rabbits. It's the same philosophy for me. I can let other people raise the sheep and alpacas, and I'll support them by buying it. But I'm almost to the point where I'm saying, okay, I'm going to support the people that process it too, because I just cannot get through everything that I need processed and spin. And I'd prefer to spin. So that's my little rant for the day about processing. RoboBabe says, I don't know. Part of me is scared I'm going to find processing and spinning would be cheaper and turn around and sell it. I kind of enjoy brainless, tedious work. And What's Up Ida says, I really enjoy the processing of a fleece, from a dirty fleece to a finished yarn. I love the way a fleece looks when you wash it and it gets all white and fluffy or whatever color it is. I do love that. I like the smell of raw fleece, as long as it's uh, just your traditional sheep smell and not real stinky. Excuse me, I'm going to have a bite of my biscuit here. Well, Robo, who asked, how do you clean it without matting it all up? There's lots of information about that. Very carefully is the concise thing. But basically, if you're doing wool, you want water warm enough to take the lanolin off and soap to make that lanolin wash away and not stick on it. And I do it in my kitchen sink, and I put the fleece in there in about maybe a half pound increments, maybe 8 ounces, maybe not even that much, depending. And I carefully push it under the water, and I let it soak for a little bit, and then I pull it all back away from the drain and let the water just drain out. I'm not squeezing it. I'm not scrubbing it. I'm not doing anything but let it soak. And I do that twice. And usually that's enough. And then you have to do a rinse with just hot water and no soap. Each time you can squeeze it dry, but usually after I squeeze it dry, I put it into a mesh bag and give it a spin in my washer on the spin cycle. That gets a lot of water out. Alternately, if you don't have a mesh bag, you can roll it up in a towel. But you do have to lay it out then to dry. But the key is hot water, soap, no agitation, just very gentle movement under the water and a fair amount of water. And it'll come clean. Morning Rose says the sunrise is pretty though. Um, I have no view of daylight right now because I have, well, it's behind me. I can see that it's starting to lighten up a little bit, but I can't see a sunrise. I never can see a sunrise. Sunrise for me is back behind a bunch of trees, so I very rarely see a sunrise. But I do get to see sunsets. West is pretty open for me. What's Up Ida says different fleeces can handle different things. I'm quite rough sometimes, but it's not really, but not the really fine ones like merino. That's very true. That's very, very true. What's Up Ida? And I think what has happened, a lot of beginners will be so super cautious that then their fleece dries and it's sticky. They haven't gotten the lanolin out of it. So it is an experience thing and something that you learn. A lot of people learn by finding shepherds that aren't selling their fleeces. They may not be the best quality fleeces, but they're willing to just give them to you. And then if you learn on something like that, you have not lost any money and you gain a lot of experience with it. And of course, there are people who swear by spinning it in the grease, which means you don't wash it. You spin your yarn with the wool and then you wash your yarn. And then take that lanolin out of the yarn. And you only partially take the lanolin out, and that makes the yarn somewhat waterproof, like for a sweater or whatever. Robo says in an apartment complex, so I don't have a great view. Thanks, phone, for sending my unfinished message. Yeah, I wasn't done. Morning Rose says my bedroom has an eastern window, so I'm on the second floor and I get good sunrises. And what a nice way to wake up. That's a nice way to wake up. My bedroom window faces south. No, I have two. One faces south, one faces north. Fiber Pixie says felting takes temperature change and agitation and soap. So you try to keep those variables from changing in each bath. Yeah. I have one fleece that I felted when I was washing it. It's a Cormo, 100% Cormo. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with it. Because not only did it felt, but the locks are super tiny. They're thin and short. It would have been a perfect fleece for somebody else, a mill, to process because it did not do well with home processing. But over how many years I've been doing this and only have one that felted, that's really, really good, and shows that it's harder to felt a fleece than you think. What's Up Ida says I prepared merino once. That needed some hot water and dish soap to get all the lanolin out. Uh, Merino is so hard. It's very rare for me to find 100% merino fleece local here. Like when I go to the fiber fairs and everything, I mean, we have Border Leicesters and Cormos and Rambouillet and that sort of thing. Hi, Teal Star. Thanks for following. Um, yeah, it's really hard to find merino fleece. And so I've had very little experience doing that. But Cormo and Rambouillet are very close to that. So it's like working with merino. And Robo asks a good question. Do you use dish soap? Yes. Sometimes Dawn which supposedly is good for getting grease out, is recommended. I go ahead and buy fleece washing stuff, and that is either the Power Scour that is out. Unicorn makes it, Unicorn Power Scour, or the Natalie Redding fleece washing products are the two that I have used. But I've used Dawn also. You just got to make sure whatever you use, you get it rinsed out pretty good. Morning Rose knows teal. Teal says, I'm only a little late. That's all right. We're all really happy. I'm just so thrilled, you guys. You all have been so wonderfully chatty. It has been wonderful. It definitely was worth getting out of bed for. Thank you. What's Up, Ida says, I live in a small apartment, so you can only do small batches. So the first little portion was a test round. Yeah, that's. I always take the worst part of the fleece, What's Up, Ida, and use that as the test run and mark it that way. Because then if you do ruin it, you're, not ruining your best. But. And Robo says, oh Lord, I haven't even started looking into different types of fiber. Let's not scare her away yet. And Fiber Pixie says, I still have 2 bags of alpaca to process, and there's a whole world of different fibers. It's so fun. It is. Fiber right now is the magic nonsense with the longer or shorter fibers. Yeah. And sometimes pretty colors. And Morning Rose says, a friend was asking me about different spinning fibers the other day. She let me talk about them for an hour and it felt glorious. Hey, hi Dorkalicious. Did you go get a nap? My spinning's going good. It's filling my bobbin up pretty quick here. Really, really had lots of chatters, though. It's been wonderful. Thank you for starting the train. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we got that worked out, so it worked. I still have, so much on this live streaming. Oh, that setting isn't right. I got to change that. So, yeah, there's still so much about it that I'm learning. I think Morning Rose, you were talking about, it was glorious to talk about the fiber. That's what I miss a lot with the quarantine is the fact that I don't get together with my spinning knitting buddies and we get to just talk spinning and knitting. I miss that. Some of it happens here, which is really nice. Teal Star says, shoot, I don't even have coffee yet. Uh-oh, well, fix that. There's coffee and biscuits in the kitchen. Go help yourself. I wish I could. I like parties like that. I like cooking for holidays and things. Oh, Dork Delicious says, kid drama I had to rush to deal with. Fiber Pixie says, I'm trying to motivate myself to get upstairs and make some tea. Maybe I can weave for a bit. It's Saturday, Fiber Pixie. And that is a 3-day weekend, too, for us. So, yay. That's a good thing. Dark Malicious says, it's automatically set to your friends and people. Yeah, that can follow you and raid you. Probably true. I just never looked at that setting. Morning Rose says, I just realized that I don't know what you're spinning. I don't either. So there. No, seriously. It has no fiber content listed when I bought it. So I don't know either what it is. It's wool. It definitely is wool. It might have some mohair in it. It has occasional little bit of sparkle and little bit of flex where they, put little tiny dyed nubs in it. It was from, as it says up here, Ozark carding mill, and it was their dollar an ounce special. So, $16 for the pound of it. Certainly an excellent deal. It's relatively soft, spinning up pretty nice. My sample skein is 11 wraps per inch, but I am trying to go a little bit thinner and get closer to more like 13 wraps per inch. I have a vest in mind that I'd like to make, but I'm not sure I'm going to get enough yardage. We'll see. Teal Star says, "Ooh, biscuits for breakfast. Yes, please. Yes, yes, I know." Robo says, "Sounds like you should get your spinning group on Discord and have a party there. That's what me and my sword fighting group does. Every other week we get online craft sessions." Yeah, I've tried. It just isn't going to happen. We talk in a Facebook group, so that I'm content with that chat. But I've had other uh, gatherings of knitting through Discord that I've joined, so that has been good. Oh, wow. Guys, I'm up to 15 viewers. That is just like the top. You guys have you topped it all. It's just so exciting. I love it. You have made my whole live streaming experience. Absolutely. Robo says, "I have to find people more local that spin." Yes, you do. Yes. And also find someone local to learn beekeeping from. Oh, cool. Yes. Hi, Pookie Paws. Glad to see ya. Most valuable thing I learned after decades of washing fleece is a 30-minute hot soak first. Just hot water. Most everything comes out, then wash with soap. Less soap needed. That is true. I do that, but don't really even think about it. Um, so thank you. That is a very good point. So much of it is just dirt. It's not lanolin, and the hot water still will take the lanolin, but fleeces tend to be very dirty if they're not coated. Morning Rose says, "I'll have to remember that." Yes. Good to know, Pookie, says Fiber Pixie. And that's also true of alpaca. Since alpaca doesn't have lanolin, you don't really need soap. You just need many rinses because alpaca is, for some reason, dirtier than wool, in my experience. But the dirt sticks to the wool because of the lanolin. But alpacas, they love to roll in the dust and dirt, and they just it doesn't seem to matter. I have a really hard time getting alpaca clean. I have washed alpaca in the washing machine, and it didn't hurt it. So, thinking that maybe I'd get it cleaner. It was in a mesh bag. It was in a big mesh bag. I want to qualify that so nobody goes throwing their alpaca in the washer without a bag. Robo Babe says, "Everybody keeps suggesting I should go see things in person and it'll make more sense." And Fiber Pixie says, "Some of that is true. A lot of it doesn't make sense until you have actual hands on it. it's such a tactile skill, and that's so true. That's true, spinning, yes. Dorklicious said, I had a Herdwick fleece that looked like it had whole fields worth of heather in it. You know, I did not know until today that you had a British accent. I take it you're in the UK, but you just gave me this glorious image of heather in the sheep fleece. Decorated sheep. Fiber Pixie says decorated sheep. Herdwick, I did was brown and it was double coated, where it had a longer tog hair, the guard hair, and the shorter. Did yours have that? Pookie Paw says, I do pick extensively first, though. I can't help getting my hands in that crimp. Yes, and maybe we need to explain what picking is. You take your fleece before you wash it, and you pull everything kind of open and apart. And it's like pre-drafting fiber, except that you've got raw fleece, and it'll feel sticky, and your hands will get full of lanolin, and it's a way to have everything all open up so that when you do the hot water and the washing and all that, all of the fiber has access to it and washes up nice. Okay, Morning Rose, go find breakfast. Oh, and Robo says, what is heather? I hear it, but I don't really know what it is. And Darklicious says, yes, I'm in the UK. There are 3 total of the Herdwick fleeces, and I have yet to wash them. But from what I can tell so far, they are all the same. Heather is a plant that grows all on the hill and mountains in Wales. My question is heather like our prickles, so that it's prickly, and or is it? I always thought it was kind of like a soft plant, and didn't have the prickles to it. But I've never really had anybody to ask. Pretty little flowers, yeah. Making progress here. This is this is the ball I've been working on, and this is the way it was, the size it was. So look at that, making progress. Oh, okay. You googled it. Back to our. I'm laughing because we're back to our Google. Uh, Kind of looks like lavender. Yeah. It's not prickly at all, really. It just spreads out a lot. Okay. That was my concept, what I thought, but I really never have actually seen it. Pookie Paws. Uh, oh, well, okay. Morning Rose asks, can be used for dyeing. That's a good question. You certainly would have a good source of it. And Pookie Paw says, I miss the fiber festivals and seeing rows upon rows of fleece for sale. It was the highlight of my year. I know every festival I would go to, I'd say to my husband, I'm not buying a fleece this year. I'm terrible about it because it would take me so long to process. In fact, I still have a fleece to process from 2 years ago. So I would say, I always bought one. I usually only bought one, but I always bought one. And I get in the car and he'd say, it smells like sheep in here. And I'm like, I know. And that's exactly the way it has to smell when I go home from a fiber fair. I can't go home without that sheep smell. Dark Delicious asks, answers about the dyeing. Yeah, the stuff that grows in the hills is smaller and likes to spread a lot, so it looks like a field full of small flowers. The sheep like to lay on it. Oh, that wasn't about the dyeing, sorry. All right. I'm going to take a little move around break here. I'll get back to spinning here in a minute, but I'm just going to move around a little bit. Teal Star says, I would think that you just need the right agent, like alum or something. Well, you can dye with all plants, really. You may just get brown or green or yellow. Usually you get brown or yellow out of a plant. So it's pretty much a given you can dye with any plant. Hang on a minute, I'm taking care of something. I'll be right back with you. Okay. I wanted to take care of that. Alrighty. Oh, RoboBabe says it's Saturday. The farmers market's today. Yeah, probably that's true. Pookie Paw says garden stores sell little pots of heather for $15 each in the U.S. You could be rich. Go out and dig and sell for $15 a pot. It's the shipping. That's the problem, is the shipping. They tend to die in the mail. Dork Delicious Fiber Arts. I currently have 3 Herdwick fleeces, 3 Swaledale. Now, see, I haven't heard of that one. And over 2 kilos of alpaca in different colors. All need to be washed and processed. See, I agree. That's where I'm at. I have lots of alpaca too. And I have actually started spinning alpaca unwashed. I will say that. I have been working on a big fleece. I think it weighed about 11 pounds. And it's that fawn color, not quite tan, not quite red. And I am spinning that unwashed. And I like it. I mean, it's okay. I just wash the yarn real good and let it soak real good. But it's too much to process, really. And I did try spinning it without even drum carding it, but I didn't like the yarn, so I do drum card it before I spin it. And Robo says, "Oh, go for all the things. Just got up because the sun's up and I'm not going back to sleep. Dog's looking at me like, food?" Yeah, Cat got his food real early this morning because I was up at 4:30 and he says, "You're up. Let's eat. Time for my wet food, my gushy food." Yeah, Swaledale is a new one to me too. I've been working through that 52 weeks of sheep, and I've run into a few breeds that I have not worked with before, but this one, that is one that wasn't even on the list. Morning Rose says, more tea has been made and toast with jam has been fixed. Yay. This is also going to be the longest live stream I've ever done. I've kept my longer ones at 2 hours. Just the spin-ins. Says Dorklicious says, I haven't worked with it before, so it'll be fun. Morning Rose says, Swaledale is a meat breed of sheep. Yay for Google. Yes. Well, an awful lot of the breeds that we don't hear of regularly are the meat breeds. They're not being raised for the fiber, and that's why we as spinners haven't really run across it much. Fiber Pixie, you finally made it up to make your tea. Robo says zombies into the kitchen. Oh, it's morning. Laugh on laugh. Well, I am not fond of smoky teas. So that's a matter of taste. Dorklicious says Swalesdale is definitely not next to skin soft. Robo's having black tea. She's out of anything fun at the moment. And Fiber Pixie says, between this and my kid doing pretend stories about sea biscuit kitten, I now have a strong craving for biscuits. Sea kitten biscuits. I think he's, I think he's trying to tell you he wants biscuits too. Darklicious says, I have plummy Earl Grey tea right now. So yummy. Ooh, that does sound yummy. Fiber Pixie says, I haven't decided yet. I've allowed a single serving loose tea to choose from. I got myself a new electric kettle, too. It changes colors at different temperatures. Oh, that is so cool. I want one. How interesting. No, that's really cool. Has like a oh well, those where you take temperature on your forehead, and it changes color. Pookie Paw says Swaledale's similar to Herdwick in micron count. Also has hair and Kemp. That's from Robeson's Fleece and Fiber sourcebook. Yeah, I know. That's a good source book. Right. Teal Star says, I may need a link to that kettle, Fiber Pixie. Morning Rose says, my electric kettle's cheap, but it works horse, and it's paid for itself many times over. That's what I have. I like it, though. I mean, I used to just boil water on top of the stove, and it's just so nice to have that electric kettle. I love it. Robo says, now that I'm on my computer and on the nice headset, I can hear the wheel. It's such a nice rhythmic noise. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I guess the sound would be different if you were just watching on your phone. When I'm on my desktop, I'd live stream from a desktop, and when I'm on my desktop listening to streams, I usually use a headphone too. Fiber Pixie says, after I ruined 4 pots on the stove, I got an electric kettle. Yeah. Morning Rose says, my kettle is my favorite thing I've bought for less than $20. Oh, Fiber Pixie says, previously mentioned kid says good morning. Good morning. Teal Star says, workhorses are good too. I want an electric kettle for my office craft area. And, that is, when I did the live stream on washing locks, I brought my electric kettle in here so I would have a source of hot water, to wash the locks with. It's portable. It's awesome. All you need is a plug. We're coffee drinkers though. My tea is an afternoon thing. I like tea in the afternoon, but we're coffee drinkers in the morning. Robo says it's tempting to get a kettle, but I don't drink tea with enough regularity to validate it. Yeah. Well, I still like it. I don't it's fine. I make a pot of coffee every morning and we drink that, and then I'll use the electric kettle for pretty much anything. Well, thank you, Walls of Gab, for my hosting it. Thank you. You made the sheep dance. Yay. Okay, so now Pookie Paws is going to get an electric kettle. Hey, Walls of Gab. Everybody saying good morning. Thanks for the host. That was appreciate that. What's FIKA? Uh, Walls of Gab says late for the Tour de Fleece train, but I wanted to pop in and support before I go for FIKA. I had a cake catastrophe to fix this morning. Oh no. Um, it sounds like there's a birthday party pending or something. How'd you fix it? Mm, an afternoon tea, but with coffee. Fika. Fika. Okay. Hmm. Oh, it's a birthday weekend for you, Morning Rose. Happy birthday. What's your favorite cake? Morning Rose says my mom is making a cake today since it's my birthday weekend. Hopefully there'll be no cake catastrophes here. Yes, Walls of Gab says it's a birthday today. Fixed it with berries. Some leftover berry syrup and recycling as much cream as I could manage. Oh no, Robo Babe. Can't find my honey. Oh no. Well, let's see. You wanted beekeeping lessons, so you run out there and you grab some, right? That's down the road, I know, but that's why you want bees, right? Morning Rose says I like chocolate Texas sheet cake and lemon blueberry cake. Both sound yummy. Yeah, Walls of Gab says, let's hope I took the cake catastrophe hit for you. Happy birthday. You're welcome, Morning Rose. That's so nice. Have fun. Teal Star, what are you asking? Why did Greenleaf Rage quit the cake? Is this a joke? A riddle? do with my skein? Okay. Thank you for the explanation. I gotcha. So this catastrophe is well publicized. So he rage quit because I think the bottom got soft from the meringue. The cake was placed on the top of paper, and when he was sliding it out, the cake decided to go with it and nearly collapsed. Yes, ooh, cake catastrophe. Didn't have enough icing to cut the bit that came out and re-iced, but it worked it out. That's what icing's for, isn't it? Cover up all the cake catastrophes. Besides, it's the best part. Aw. Walls of Gab said, I've had to deal with my mom when she freak out and cry over a ruined cake, so I've had practice. Aw. Yeah. Baking cakes from scratch is a lot of work. It can be disappointing to have it not work. As you know, the British Baking Show says, no soggy bottoms. They have their share of disasters on that show, that's for sure. Fiber Pixie decided on candy apple black tea, which all says that sounds fantastic. Teal's Star says, I'm not sure I had too soft cake, just not enough release agent. Yeah, it stuck to the pan, in other words. Yeah. And dang, Fiber Pixie, that sounds amazing. Morning Rose says, I love the Great British Baking Show. Walls of Gab says, yeah. And he's a chef, but he's not a baker. It's a bit different and frustrates him that it can't be perfect. Fiber Pixie says, I made a chocolate cake this week just because I can. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to have to bake today, you guys. I don't have time to bake. I want to watch live streams. Tomorrow. Maybe I'll bake tomorrow. See, I even went to the trouble of making sure I'd have a supper to put in the crock pot so I wouldn't have to make supper and cooking or anything today. Now you're all talking about baking cakes. RoboBabe says, went another round around the kitchen to see if I could find the honey where it shouldn't be and ran across some mead. And there was some real temptation to add it to my tea. Yeah, that's honey. Sure. Oh. Fiber Pixie says, oh, nice. Morning Rose says, nice. Stripe Conlon says, I messed around with a bread recipe to add extra sugar, chocolate, vanilla, and cinnamon this week. Yum, that sounds good. Nice breakfast bread. And Teal Star says, I freeze pieces of cake because I don't eat the cakes fast enough. I may get a few slices out. Yeah, I really truly don't make cakes. You know what I have tried? I was going to say, I got sidetracked. I was going to say I don't make it just for hubby and I because he's not a sweets eater, and that means I eat the whole thing, which isn't good. But I have tried the microwave mug cakes. I have a little cookbook that has a whole bunch of recipes that are just like that. You put all your ingredients in a mug and you microwave them for a couple minutes. They're not like good cake, but they're pretty good because I need cake right now and kind of, you know, dessert and sweet to make and relatively quick. You have to have self-rising flour to make them work. That's how they work. Sorry, not sorry, Fiber Pixie. Oh. Morning Rose says, we do that too, especially with sheet cake. Walls and Gab laughs. Teal Star says, RoboBabe, you don't need to do anything today, right? RoboBabe says, it's 8 a.m., way too early for that. Plus, my boy wants to bring me out to do something today. He won't tell me what. Ooh, a little surprise. That sounds fun. Yeah, Walls of Gab says, look, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I don't judge. Teal Star says, quick breads are a good way to do a slightly less sweet cake. Yeah, that's true. Stripe Conlon says, I got a box set of those for my birthday. Robo says, mug cakes are good enough to scratch the itch. Yep. I also appreciate you guys trying to enable me. I think she means about the mead. Yeah. Morning Rose says, I need to make pumpkin bread soon. I'm going to try an orange glaze on top. Ooh, yum. Yum. It has been too hot to bake. I think that's why we're all jonesing after baked stuff. Because it's been just like, even with air conditioning running, if I turn the oven on in the summertime when it's hot, especially in the afternoon because my kitchen faces west, it's just like unbearable. And I don't want to do it. But I think there's also that part of baking where it's a wintertime thing because it's cold and you go in the kitchen and you turn on the oven makes the kitchen warmer and you're moving around and you're putting your stuff together for your cake or cookies or whatever. It's very warm and comforting in the wintertime, and I think I associate baking with winter weather. And of course there's always Christmas cookies, and that's a big thing for me in the winter. Teal Star says, oh, an orange glazed bread sounds good. I do a lemon tea bread. Oh, I love lemon. I love lemon cookies, lemon bread, anything like that. And I could totally substitute the lemon for orange. Yeah, and Morning Rose says that lemon bread does sound lovely. Fiber Pixie says, I've been baking now that the temp dropped a little here. We made pumpkin bread, oob cookies, I don't know if I said that right, and chocolate cake these past 2 weeks. Teal Star says, my sister-in-law's kitchen is like that. I enjoy my kitchen only because it's separated from the house. Your kitchen is separated from the house? Is it that like a totally in a different house area? Robo Babe says you guys are making me want carbs and I have no easy access to carbs right now. And Walla Gab agrees. Cook Christmas cookies. With any luck, I'll still be in Sweden for Christmas because it's my fave. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I remember okay, ube. It's purple. Your purple cookies. I remember hearing about those. Yeah, we all want cake. So the next live stream train, the raid train, we all are going to have cakes to show, right? That's what we need to do. Oh dear. And we thought the fiber buying fiber was a habit, huh? So the kitchen that's not part of the house, there's only two small doors on either end of the kitchen. It's still part of the main house. It's just on the end rather than being in the center. Actually, my kitchen is in the end also. If you go out one door, you go outside. If you go out another door, you go into the garage, and then the third door is into the next room of the house, but it is actually on the end of the house. Right. Robo says you cannot talk about cake if you don't have enough to share with the class. Hello, Raven's Crochet Nest. Welcome and thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. What's up, Ida says, oh, you're in Sweden? And Walls of Gab says, yeps. Laugh and yep, I live here. Still working out the residency bit with everything happening in the world. Stripe Collins said, mine's on the end of the house too. Just one open doorway into the dining room. Teal Star says, see, I don't even have the garage on the other side of it. So most of the heat doesn't make it into the house. My house is a very old farmhouse, and if you've listened to even the live streams recently or the uh, podcast, we just recently did a whole bunch of remodeling on the kitchen. My hubby worked on it from June through, he got done in the middle of August, so it was a big project. Morning Rose said, our house has an open floor plan, so our kitchen is totally open to the rest of the first floor. Yeah, that's a very modern design. What's Up Ida says, I'm Swedish and live here. Always fun to have other people from here. Yes, yes. This is why I live streamed early, guys, so that my European friends that I've met through live streaming could come and say hello. My viewers just keep going up. I'm glad you all are joining me. I am so jazzed today. This has just made my live streaming day. Best day ever. Morning Rose says, my mom has her hands in clay at the kitchen table. She's so happy. It's so cute. She's working with pottery clay? Or just regular clay? Modeling clay? Teal Star says, I'm excited to have the new kitchen that we're moving to. It's a bit more open than this, so I can actually work in there and still keep an eye on the little monsters. Wallagab says, "Oh, yay. With any luck, I'll be on my way to becoming Swedish very soon. I'm here to stay if migration could stop being ridiculous." I'd love to see Sweden. That would be nice. Need more travel in my life sometime. Sometime. Robo says, "I'm jealous of you all in Europe. So easy to go to one other country another and see other cultures. Our states here in the U.S. are the size of your countries, but they don't vary as much." She wants to go to Germany. Ah, and Morning Rose says, "Yes, pottery clay." Oh, I bet she's smiling. That sounds fun. Now, see, there's a craft I have never tried. Never tried anything with pottery clay. Or modeling clay, really, other than the occasional Play Doh thing. I have been watching Plays in the Mud, her live stream. She makes it look fun. She's very good, too. She's very talented with it. Oh, need to stretch. Oh. Robo says, "That is such an interesting blue color. Truthfully, it is green. That's the camera. Sorry, the camera is very blue oriented for some reason. Let me put it up to this camera. And you can see, I think it looks a lot truer to color there. It's green. It's an aqua green. It's pretty, though. I really like it." Morning Rose says, "I got her a bunch of pottery tools and materials for her birthday, and she's been super excited to try, but only just now got around to it, and playing the mud is awesome. I got a yarn bowl and 2 mugs from her." Oh, yeah. I know, she is a lot of fun. Fiber Pixie, I don't know why I thought of you, but Play in the Mud does raku. Is that how you say it? Where you burn it with the hair and stuff? Pottery also. It's really, really interesting. Yeah, it's Robo. See, it's not blue. It's green. So it's not robin's egg blue. It's definitely um, kind of a gray green. Yeah, raku. It is. It is so beautiful. It is. It really is pretty. Yes, I saw the stuff. Morning Rose says JK had some stuff commissioned from her using Raku. I That's exactly what I was going to say. Was I saw her showing that off. Teal Star says, "Funny enough, I know how it's spelled because I was looking at how to fire ceramics without a kiln last night." The dog is nagging Robo to be fed, and it's 10 minutes early. I think you can let her have it now. I purposely have closed my door um, so the cat's not here today. I believe my husband is awake now, and I could go ahead and open it up. Maybe he'll come and pay a visit. I am going to do a be right back too. And you all, I'll catch up with you in a minute. Well, a couple minutes. I'm back. I'm trying to get my cat to come in and say hello, but he hasn't yet. Oh, Morning Rose says my break screen time speaks to my soul. Thank you for following, Tantel. I really appreciate it. I missed it. I was trying to get a hold of my cat and see if he'd come visit a little bit. And Robo says it's super pretty. By the way, I took that picture of the rose. That's on one of my arbors, climbing rose that I took a number of years ago. Robo says also I'm starting to struggle with this blanket. It's nearly 9 foot and 50 inches long at this point, and it's getting unwieldy. Are you going to stop soon? I mean, that sounds real big. Fiber Pixie says that's more than a lapful. Tantail said I just got back, so I wanted to find out where the raid went. We're here. Sorry, my typing isn't very good today. And thank you. Tantel says, beautiful floof there. Yes, thank you. Here he comes. I'm going to not spin for a little bit and see if I can get him to come up on my lap. I'll have to take the blanket or the towel off, though, because, come on. You going to come up here and purr? You've been scratching at the door. I know you wanted in. Yeah, I know you wanted to come in. Yes. His name is Newman, and usually he comes visits me on Sundays when we do the spin in. Oh, they can see you down there. Yeah. Yeah. He has his tuxedo on. He's a tuxedo cat. Hey. Okay, so the blanket, Robo says the blanket's going to be 9 feet square by the time I'm done with it. Wanted a blanket big enough to fit over a California king bed I just got and have enough room for my boyfriend to wrap himself up once or twice and still have blankets for me. Come on. Come on. Yes. He has a good purr. If I can get him up by the mic, you'll hear him purr. What you doing? You getting in my fiber? Hmm. Getting in my fiber? Come on. Come here, kitty noises. He has a mind of his own. He sure is like rubbing all over everything, marking him. I haven't been in here for 5 minutes. I gotta do this. This is my wheel. This is my person. This is my room. This is my bed. Oh, isn't that right? All right. I'm not gonna look. You jump up here, and I'm not gonna look. Come on. Come on. No, being ornery. Yeah. You want me to pick you up? Mm-hmm. Want me to pick you up? Now, I have to change the camera so you guys can see him. There he is. There we go. And you also got the picture of the mic. Don't you? Yeah. There. Tantel says Toby has weird moments too, but he's decided to hang out downstairs. Probably figured out a little while ago he can make the jump to the kitchen counter. I hope you don't have supper out there. Oh, they can hear you purring. That's good. See, I can't hardly hear him, but I'm glad it goes across the mic. It's a good mic. That's for one thing, but he is also sitting right beside it. Aren't you? Yeah. Kitty break. Uh-oh. You got a dog watching you. I have every once in a while Newman will stare at something on my computer screen. Aw. Maury Rose says, I need to find a place where I can cuddle a cat. Love those scritches, huh? Yeah. Tantail says it's surprising how much volume some cats kick out. Toby is still small and he purrs so loud you can hear him across the room. Then my parents' neighbors have a cat that's so quiet you can barely hear them even meow. The mouth opens and needs to be perfectly quiet to hear them. Fiber Pixie says, Hi, Newman Cat. It's the only time Newman Cat will make an appearance. Normally, if anybody walks into the house, he runs and hides or goes through his cat door and goes outside. Oh, well, I'm glad you're back, Fiber Pixie. We broke it. We broke your Twitch. The thing is, okay, so I have actually in less than 30 minutes I have to go do a raid. We're going to go visit JK Knits for You. So he's liable to be content to sit here for the rest of the 30 minutes. Of course, I really did spin a lot this morning. Oh, Fiber Pixie said, took the opportunity to move to my loom, so you're doing some weaving. That's good. Robo Babe says, now that I know uprights are called castle wheels, I'm looking and my wallet hurts just looking at it. No, it's an investment. Definitely an investment. But just don't be impatient. A wheel will find you. It's it's kind of like, you know how sometimes pets find you and the perfect one comes along because they find you or whatever. Wheels do that too, at least for me. So I'm going to encourage you to just kind of keep your eyes open and you'll be surprised. You might find a good deal. Tantel says Toby is too restless to sit still, but as soon as you want to do something, he flies over and cozies up. Yes, as a cat, isn't it? Our standard. I sit on a chair in the morning with the cat in my lap, and hubby keeps my coffee cup full because I really can't get up with a cat on my lap. Morning Rose says, my first wheel was a castle wheel, and I had to save up for a long while. And Robo Teal Star says, do you have any woodworking skills? Uh, might I suggest the Zephyr wheel building plans? That's something to look into. That would be interesting. He's quit purring. I don't have the rumble anymore. He's also looking out the door. I don't know if he thinks there's going to be food pending here or not. He's already had his food this morning, but he seems to be thinking about leaving. Well, or sleeping. I don't know which. This is not the best lap. When I sit in my chair, I have my feet up. He has a good lap. This one's not the best lap, is it? So the plans for the Zephyr wheel are about $40. Would cost of around 100, so it's a good bit cheaper than buying a wheel new. Robo says, got more metal working, but also no place to work. Yeah, that is always a drawback because woodworking tools, some of them are hefty. Okay. See you later, kitty boy. Thanks for visiting. Yeah. Onward for a better place to nap. Yes, he's a tux. He is a rescue. He was. I'm sorry, I always talk with my head turned. He was a street cat before he was rescued, and I needed a mouser. I needed somebody who would catch mice in my old farmhouse, so he fit the bill perfect. Teal Star says about the woodworking and no room and all that. That's fair. Most of the cutting is a jigsaw because the creator has it so you glue the pattern pieces to the wood and just cut on the line. Oh, okay. There's only a few pieces that are measure and cut. Robo says, my dog's now curled on the other side of the couch safely. I won't cuddle her because I'm working. Pookie Paws says, I'm in the process of digging through my stash to wash fleece and any old sticky fleece that needs rewashing while the weather is still warm. I only wash outside. Good plan. Good plan for the day. I have skeins of yarn I need to wash, and I'm waiting until next week. I'm trying not to do too much else this weekend because of the streaming and knowing that the weather's good. I got to work outside a little bit. But I do have a lot of skeins of yarn I want to wash. And then I'll start washing. I have just a pound of a Jacob fleece that I want to wash. As well as there are various fleeces I could wash, but that's my plan anyway. Stripe Conlon says, Boy Cat is a bit of a rescue too. He was born in a friend's backyard. Okay, so Stripe Colin, I gotcha. Your cat is a tux. I'm with you now. And he was visiting you. KB Fibers, good morning. Welcome. We are having quite a chat. And lots of cups of coffee and tea. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me move this back. We were cat watching. That's why my camera was moved. Because the cat was visiting. But he's gone on. KB is drinking cocoa. Yum. Robo's knitting a big giant blanket and just said, the longer the blanket gets, the more tempting it is to take a nap under it. I've already napped under it once, folded over me. Aww. Pookie Paw says, I have mounds of fluffy white wool all over the house. It makes me smile to see it. Good thing I live alone. Well, My husband's pretty used to fluff all over the place. All right, Walls of Gab, I have to get ready to go. Have a good birthday party. Thanks for the stream. I'll leave a lurk up and get taken with the train. Have fun. Yes. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day. Robo says, I just have mountains of dog fur everywhere. Boyfriend is slowly adjusting to it. It was there before he was. Fiber Pixie says it was there before he was. Oh, well, Robo says, keep joking. If I pick up spinning, I should just spin her fur. It's about 3 inches long. Hi, Veggie Zombie. Welcome. KB says that would work. I've done dog hair before. I am spinning an unknown breed of wool. It was carded by a carding mill and sold for $1 an ounce. So I have 16 ounces of it. I'm hoping to do around a 13 wraps per inch and knit a vest if I get enough out of it. It looks blue on the thing, but it's really kind of green. This particular skein is more like 11 wraps per inch. It was a test one. So I'm trying to spin just a little bit thinner than that. Mystery sheep. Yeah. Absolutely. Nobody thinks it's weird to spin cat or dog fur or, you know, yak or Australian possum or, you know, goat, mohair. Oh my goodness. Meat sheep. We spin it all, don't we? We spin it all. Rabbit fur. Oh, absolutely. I have seen people list that they spin dryer lint. I have seen that. I have been out in the yard. I live on a farm. I have a big cornfield in front of me, and when that corn silk was out there, I'm eyeing that, thinking, I wonder if I could spin that. I didn't try it, but I didn't want to mess up the. We rented the land, so farmer's doing it, and I didn't want to mess too much of his corn up. Veggie Zombie says, it's a little weird for dog fur, but I've done it too. Teal Star says, my one girlfriend tried to spin cotton balls when she was broke. They're processed weird. You know, I have spun real cotton off of the plant, but what you get, it does. I'm not even sure it's 100% cotton anymore. It feels more like acrylic. Don't hold me to that, but. Morning Rose says, I'm spinning yak right now, and I've done cat fur blended with wool before, but never again. It was a favor to a friend, and I love them, but never again. Oh, yes, I know. What we do for our friends, huh? I gotta watch the time, guys. I'm so happy we've got so many viewers to take to JK. That makes me so happy. We're gonna do a great raid. It's gonna be so much fun. What would you do with dryer lint? There's a good question. You couldn't wash it, could you? I guess you could after it was spun. I guess you could wash it. Teal Star says, I think rabbit is the most exotic I've spun. My cats are short and medium length fur, so they don't have a lot of shed to collect. And Robo says, I really should pick up making clothes with my crochet, but I like making blankets. But it's so hard to like. Find people who want them. I know. I want to sell them, but I feel like nobody is going to want to pay for the actual labor that goes into it. That is so true of any craft. It just, even gifting it has to be a person who appreciates the time and that went into it when you gift it. Morning Rose says, and now we know about you. I know you've gotten several followers in the stream, so we'll be back, and that's wonderful. Stripe Conlon, I always say that wrong, might take you all and Boy Cat down to the couch for times. Oh, sorry, it's popping. Let me start over. Might take you all and Boy Cat down to the couch for a nap. Pookie Paw says, I wonder how sheep farmers are doing selling fleece in times of quarantine. Well, especially those that were vending at fiber fairs. A lot of the fiber fairs went online. And I looked at several different ones that were online. So I think they have had a chance to sell through that outlet when they didn't have to go to the trouble of making their own website or their own, they had a chance to link up to where they knew there'd be a lot of people there looking at the website. So I think that was a good thing. But the nice thing is, I'm pretty sure a lot of farmers who are actually selling fleeces know how to store them. And, will be able to bring them back out again. If in another case they may be spinners themselves and will go ahead and have it processed, and sell it as processed fiber in the next year. KB Fiber says, I've spun roving from New Zealand. It has possum. Yeah. Tantel says, make what you want. If you make what you don't want, what you don't want to make, it'll be harder and you won't sell it as much as with as much love. I know what you're saying, Tantel. Make what you want. If you make something you don't want, you're just not going to be as enthusiastic about selling it and making it. Stripe Collins says, I have to brush my cats because of allergies, so I save his fur and I might spin it someday. Tantel says, have a good nap with Kitty Buddy. Aw, KB, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I know, I've done that. Like, oh, I thought I followed you. Different streamers, I know what you mean. And Tantel says, I thought I was followed too. But I think I just seen everybody in the channel and Discords and get confused. Plus, Twitch likes to derp. Derp sometimes. You know what I have trouble with is the different Twitch names and the different Discord names. I forget who's who, so that is a little bit confusing for me too. And Stripe, see, you didn't know either. And it is Yeah, it's Conlon. Um, Thank you for the follow too. We are up to 22 viewers, and that's the number that I'm watching for when we go raid. KB is going to be blown away. I'm excited to blow her away. Stripe Conlon says, I don't know for certain, but I suspect a lot of the PA sheep farmers had their big sales during the farm show, which was in January, so that would be good. I'm surprised they shear that early, though, especially at PAB in Pennsylvania, right? Also says local yarn shop has a sheep farm, and they're pretty much sold out of their yarn and roving, as they usually are by this time of year. So that's good. I think as long as you either have a local source, that's a good thing, or you can, deal online, then that'll be great. KB Fiber, yes, this is a Magic Craft Aura. That's I've had for I think maybe 5 years now. Pookie Paw says, I like to see and touch a fleece before buying. I agree with you that I don't plan on buying at festivals, but I can't resist a pretty fleece. And I agree with you on the actually seeing it. The fleeces that I have bought this year online, and since I couldn't go to the fiber fair, were not entire fleeces. They were 1 pound, and they were a pretty well-known breed like a Jacob or something like that. I had one case where I bought a pound of a breed that I didn't know, and I was just like, well, I probably wouldn't have bought this if I actually had seen it. And so, there is that risk of buying it online. Um, Robo Babe says, I have made a ton of process in getting spinning done too. Oh, I have. Yes, I have made a lot of yarn today. That's really awesome. And Pookie Paw says, when will you be on again? I will actually be on tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's my local time. So it's Sunday afternoon, and I'm on for about 2 hours during that time. And KB says, I have a Major Craft Susie. Okay, we got to do this raid thing now. We have 26 viewers. It is 9 o'clock. It's 4 minutes to 9 o'clock. So that's the 9 a.m. is the raid time. So hang on to your hats here. I have not done a raid before. I am pretty sure, having read what I need to do, that we're going to get it to work. So, oops. Not a question mark. And there's going to be Veggie Zombie. Thank you for saying finally catch a stream. I know it's really great how many people came up. I want to say before we go, thank you, thank you, thank you again. I really appreciate all the chat. You have made the morning fly, and that has been so much fun. Now, from what I understand, once I hit this raid thing, we are going to have a little bit of a delay, and then you'll have a thing where you'll have to click join raid. That'll take you over to JK Knits for You, and hopefully she is ready for us. Thank you, Tantel. Thank you, Robo. Good to see you. Fiber Pixie, I really appreciate you stopping by. And I have one more thing I want to do here. Okay. And we'll see how it goes. And until later, as I say in the podcast, happy spinning. Oh, it's intended for mature audiences, so beware. We're all grown ups here, in spite of our PJs, right? Why didn't it work? Oh, there it is. Okay. 22 viewers already. And we'll, we'll just let's go right now. All right.